Starting up. Okay. All right. We're live. Here we go. Okay. Well, Brother Adams, here we are. Jeffrey and I, we're taking this quiz together, and we're going to discuss any problems we may have or confusion or anything that we have with the material so that we can be really smart and do really well.
Learn a bunch of stuff.
Learn a lot of stuff. Anyway, all right. So we just started the quiz. We're on question number 1. Question 1 says the forces that make market economics work are that's C, supply and demand, right, Jeff?
I agree.
Okay. All right. So that one is just in the book, so it's a pretty easy one. Question number 2. The highest form of competition is called.
I think it's perfect competition.
Perfect competition.
Yeah.
What are the okay, so we got perfect competition, we have market competition, cutthroat competition, absolute competition. I know I've seen perfectly competitive on page 66 of my book.
Yeah.
But I don't see where it says that's the highest form of competition. Oh, you know what, Jeff? I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it says in our book on page 66 in the last paragraph, it says, in this chapter, we assume that markets are perfectly competitive. To reach this highest form of competition, a market must have characteristics. It gives 2 characteristics. Okay. So, perfect competition it is. Is that the answer you think is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. The demand for a good or service is determined by.
I think it's those who buy the good or service.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones demanding it.
Yeah, demanding it. Yep. Most studies indicate that tobacco and marijuana tend to be. I can't remember where I saw that in the book.
That's one that I don't know.
Tobacco. I just don't remember I don't remember where to find it. Oh, here we go. I think I found it.
What'd you find?
I am looking on page 72.
Okay.
Substitutes. That's the answer on page 72.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. It says here, opponents of cigarette taxes often argue that tobacco and marijuana are substitutes, so that high cigarette prices encourage marijuana use.
Okay.
All right, question 5. The following table contains a demand schedule for a good. If the law of demand applies to this good, then Q1 should be 200.
200.
Question 6. Refer to the above image. The movement from DA to DB could be caused by
their demand would go up. Could be caused by a decrease in price. I think it would be a decrease in price because the price would go down and the demand would go up because of that, which means it would shift to the right.
Okay, I'm just wondering because it shows it goes up in quantity and then up in price. I mean, or maybe I'm wrong because I'm seeing the line price and it's
Well,
higher than the first
It
line.
stays at the same slope when it shifts to the right.
Yeah.
But the D is just the demand curve. So if you had the supply and the demand, this is a weird way of me remembering it with my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Or maybe because when the demand goes that way, the supply is in the middle. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think there would be a decrease in price still because the demand would go up if the price decreased, and then the price would rebound back from that and eventually make it back to the equilibrium. But if the price fell, then the demand would rise.
I'm looking on page in our book. I'm looking on page 75 for a refresher there.
Yeah.
And it's talking about shifts in the supply curve. But it doesn't really. Okay, we can try and do just because maybe you got the right answer. I just want to make sure we confirm it. What we can do is we can kind of talk about each answer or each choice it gives us and why it could be and could not be. Buyers expecting the price of the good to fall in the near future. Why would they buy more? Why would the shift curve
Why would they shift
to the
Why
right?
would they buy more if it was gonna fall in the future?
Right.
They'd buy less now, and then when it falls, they'd buy more.
Yeah.
Then a decrease in income, they would demand less because they wouldn't have as much
Right.
to buy it.
Right. So it has to be A or D. And
D would make more sense if it was an increase of price of a substitute. But if it's a complement, the way I think of it is boats, because I love boats. Like if I bought a boat that was super expensive
Mm-hmm.
And then like the wakeboards and stuff to go with the boat. If that price went up and each wakeboard cost $1,000 instead of $500, I'd be less likely to buy the boat in the first place. Because then I'd be buying the boat, the initial good, and then I'd be buying a lot of complements that would also be very expensive. So it would push me away from buying the boat in the first place.
That's very true. So basically, from what we're seeing on here,
That was really in depth about boats. That was weird.
everybody everybody's about cool with it. Huh. Huh. Interesting. I don't. Man, why a decree? Just to add whatever. I don't know. This is a tough one. Decrease in. So, what does that assuming the good is inferior mean? That second part of the decrease in income.
An inferior good, isn't that a good that isn't necessarily important? Right?
I don't know.
I think the inferior good is a good that is something that's kind of like an optional.
Maybe trying to understand it. Assuming the good is inferior.
Well, yeah, because okay, so the normal goods is something that we need. Like we
Okay.
need like water. Water would be a normal good. An inferior good would be like
Soda.
like a soda that I keep drinking.
So ice cream is an inferior good.
So if I have a decrease in income, the chances of me going out and buying a soda or an ice cream is less.
Right.
So my demand for it would go down. My want for it would go up. But that's not shown on the graph. So
a decrease in prices
I really think the decrease in prices is the only real option.
one that makes sense. Okay. I'm game for that.
Okay.
All right. Question 7. The table below shows the quantities demanded of cases of Mountain Dew per month by 4 families of various prices. Okay, so we see the table. If the 4 families listed in the table are the only demanders of Mountain Dew in the market, which of the following graph is the correct graph of the market demand?
Oh.
All right.
Well, no, it just doesn't make sense.
That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking.
I'm looking at all these graphs and I'm like, I don't see how that.
Are we going on an average? Is that or
And, with all my economics stuff that I've, all the economics classes I've taken, I've always come to the conclusion that they never give you enough information in the questions that they ask.
this is my first time ever taking any economics class, and what I've noticed so far is that you have to like you have to read so carefully. You have to be so detail oriented in your reading and understanding. It's just crazy.
Because there's so many things that are so close to being alike.
Yeah.
And it's like if you read one word differently, it's completely different. If the four families listed in the table are the only demanders of Mountain Dew in the market, which of the following is the correct graph for the market demand? If I have $7, 15, 14 is 29, 38. So if I have $7, I am ordering, or I am getting 60. Or if the Mountain Dew is at $7 a case, the families combined would have 60 cases of Mountain Dew.
I thought it was 50 at $7.
I might be counting wrong. Let me recount in my head. Because 50 would make more sense because there's actually 50 on the graphs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure counted 50 there.
Yeah, let's go with 50. I'm not good at counting.
Okay.
It's got to be number one then, or number one A, because I just did the thing where I touched my computer. In between 6 and 8, the only one that matches up with 50 at 7 is A. The other ones, if you had $7 a case, B would be at 20 cases. C would be 0 cases. And D would be 30 cases. So I think it's got to be A. Let's see if that correlates, though. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's
10, 20,
right, because the demand's going to go down as the price goes up.
30, 40. And at $8, they get 40. Yeah, it's got to be A.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I'm confident.
Me too. I am confident in that answer.
When quantity demanded has increased at every price, it might be because I think on this one it would either be B or D. Because if income increased, getting back to the ice cream, you have ice cream, I get more money, I'm going to go get ice cream more. It's an inferior good. But I don't know.
I think, yeah, it's got to be one of those two, in my opinion, too.
I think I'm going to lean more towards D on that because ice cream, even if I'm making a bunch of money, if ice cream costs like $10 a scoop, I'm not going to buy it for $10 a scoop.
Yeah, it's D. I think it's D personally, but
okay, D it is.
Okay. The quantity supplied of a good. The quantity supplied of a good is the amount that sellers are able to produce, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Today's supply curve for iPods could shift in response to a change in all of the above. What do you think?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. The diagram below pertains to the demand for turkey in the United States. Okay.
All else equal, a sale on chicken would cause a move from think it would be dB to dA. No. Y, X to Y. Because if dA was turkey and its equilibrium was at X, and then the chicken went on sale. Nah, let me think. The chicken went on sale, that would be a substitute. And that would push it. It would push the demand for chicken up. But it would push the supply of the turkey up because there would be less people buying it.
Right. So that would be from X to Y,
I think so.
assuming that.
I'm not sure on that one because I don't know what the demand of the chicken is. See, that's what gets me. It's like you're asking about turkey. You put turkey on the graph, a sale on chicken. Well, what's the demand of the chicken?
All else equal, sale on chicken would cause a move from. See, and I'm trying to understand which one's supposed to be which.
Oh, you know what? No, it's got to be Y to X because if the supply is up here on the turkey, and this is the demand and this is the supply, and the supply is up here at Y, and then the chicken goes on sale.
It would bring the turkey.
The turkey, you have a higher supply, which means the curve shifts to the right, and then you'd have a lower equilibrium price because they'd be trying to get rid of the turkeys. It's got to be Y to X. This is.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick. My wife is just. I think she's wondering if I'm coming home yet, or so I'm trying to just tell her, hey, I'm just in a meeting.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So anyway, so you said it would be Y to X.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that.
These are the only four sellers in the market. And the market quantity supplied at the price of $10 is 44. I think the next one would be 44.
44.
Yeah, because they're asking at a price of $10, so that's set. And the customers would be demanding 44 units, and you don't want to make more than that because otherwise you have extra inventory.
Okay.
Which I only think of it like that because of accounting.
Gotcha. Okay, 44 units it is. So question 13, a rightward shift of the supply curve is called.
Increase in supply.
That's what I was thinking because it's going to the right.
Well, yeah, it's an increase in something, but I can't remember if it's an increase in supply or an increase in quantity supplied. I think quantity supplied means that it moves along the line.
Yeah, I think it's an increase in supply.
Okay.
Okay, so question 14 then. Which supply schedules obey the law of supply? So are we looking for a pattern? Because B, C, and D are all common.
I think it would be either A or C.
30? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you. They're all common.
Yeah, but A and C, they rise and then they fall.
Right, yeah. So
Well, A
decreases
doesn't
their drop.
rise; it just falls.
Yeah.
C rises and falls. You know what? I think it's just got to be A. Can I do A? Yeah, we can do A only.
Yeah, that is it.
Because at $0, I want 10, and at $10, I don't want to buy any.
Exactly. So Fermi's only. Okay, so question 15. The unique point at which the supply and demand curves intersect is called. Oh, crap. Vocab question.
Unique point at which the demand curves intersect is called. Oh, it's an equilibrium.
Oh, okay. Cool. 16. At price of $35, there would be
You'd have a I think it would be a surplus of 200 units because you're going from the equilibrium, and at 35 you'd be at 200 units. Yeah, it would be a surplus because you would have 200 extra because people wouldn't buy the extra 200 units. So surplus of 200 units.
yeah, I agree. So that's surplus of 200 units then.
Which of the following movements would illustrate the effect in market for fences? Decrease in price of wood. What? Okay, if the price of wood decrease, the amount of fences to go up would be higher.
Yes, that's right.
I think it would be. You wouldn't change the supply. I think it would be A to C.
Yeah, you can't do A to C.
Well, that's not an option, so it's not right.
Which of the following movements illustrate the effect in the market for fences of a decrease?
Oh,
Wood.
B to C. That's an option, right? No.
Yeah, it says C to B.
Supply.
You don't think it'd be A to D?
Oh, yeah, A to D.
That's what I was thinking. Is A to D.
I don't know what I was thinking there. Because the demand would change, but the supply would stay the same. So the demand would increase and the supply would.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, the diagram. All that's equal. An increase.
Oh, here we go into the turkey one.
Turkey farmers would increase.
You know what? An increase in the product of turkey farmers. Wouldn't that be from Y to X actually for this one?
Yeah, because it would increase the supply. So the supply would shift from Y to X. It would be a rightward shift.
So it is Y to X.
Yeah.
So then on the last one, we also put Y to X. So do you think the last one's wrong, or do you think that's still right?
Let's go back and look.
A sale on chicken would cause a move from.
Let's go. It would decrease the demand.
So would it be DA to DB?
I think it would be DA to DB on the last one because it would decrease the demand of the turkey, which
So
would
wait.
which would cause a leftward.
Okay, so the first turkey question, we're sticking with the Y to X. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was going to change the first turkey question, the one about the chicken sales.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is DA to DB
And then this one is,
from Y to X.
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me. All right. So now we got 4 panels to look at. Okay, which of the 4 panels illustrate a decrease in quantity supplied?
What's it called? Panel B. Because the supply curve stays in the same spot. But, well, that's a decrease in demand, though. See, this is where it gets confusing between quantity supplied and actual supply.
Yeah, this.
Because if it's panel B, then the equilibrium drops, but it's because it's got 2 different demand curves on it.
Excess demand. Oh, man. Because the quantity, so quantity supplied. I just wanted to kind of understand what it meant, and it refers to the amount of suppliers wish to sell. So
Quantity supplied is the supply curve. So that would be panel D, right? Because that's the supply that you wish to sell.
I think so.
I said other.
Or is it or do you think it's B? I think it might be B, dude.
That's what my first instinct is too. I just hope I'm not confused on supply and quantity supplied, but I think it's B.
But because the supply is the actual supply, like what they actually supply. What quantity supply is what they want to supply. What they
Okay. So then the actual supply is what shifts the curve. The amount that they want to sell would because that would shift the demand curve. I think it's B. Yeah.
Okay. Which of these statements does not apply to market economics? One of those questions. What do you? I don't know. I'm looking at them. What do you think? I'm leaning towards C. Price isn't sure that anyone who wants a product can get it.
I think so.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna submit mine unless you can think of anything we like need to clarify before.
Okay.
Should we submit it?
I'm gonna submit it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep. I'm jumping off the cliff. Oh, shoot. Oh, that was such a bad score. Oh crap. Well, that didn't go so well.
How did we do that with the book open?
Oh my gosh. Really? 12 out of 20?
No, that's just depressing.
That's crazy. I thought we
did well.
I thought we did a lot better than that.
I mean, I thought we'd at least get a C on that.
I was thinking more at least a B. I was pretty confident on that.
Yeah. Great. That's fine. I'll just fail the class again. No, I'm just kidding. That's frustrating. We checked our work on it.
I'm trying to look up how he said to.
We can't see it until after the due date, so we can't see it until 11 o'clock tonight.
Oh. Gotcha.
That's ridiculous.
That sucks.
All right, take us off this broadcast.
Okay. Okay, Brother Adams, there you go. We just had our first successful group quiz and tried and didn't do so hot. So we will approach this better next time or something. We'll do better. All right, we're out.